Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. Today I'm just doing kind of a quick audio review on the Ghostbusters movie. I went and saw it. My opinions on all the pre-hype and all the trailers and all that BS are kind of like this. I wasn't exactly enthused to hear of the reboot, that it would be a reboot, not a continuation with new Ghostbusters, but an actual reboot. I wasn't exactly too thrilled that they'd all be female, especially the way this was marketed. It was kind of marketed that if you like the original Ghostbusters, well, screw you. That kind of annoyed me. That said, I didn't go in wanting to hate this movie. I always want to check out a movie before condemning it. These are all good comedians. Melissa McCarthy is funny. So I wanted to see if they would actually do a good job on this movie or not. Well, as Doug Walker and Andre the Black Nerd have kind of said, you've kind of got your whole panties in a bind on both sides over what is really a B-rated movie. It is average at best. And if there's one thing I can say, it's not the original Ghostbusters in popularity. This will not blow up into the same franchise that the original Ghostbusters did. The original Ghostbusters movie spawned a cartoon series, I think, that lasted a decade. It was probably the second biggest cartoon series growing up as a kid behind Ninja Turtles. It had toys, it had video games being made clear into the late 90s. Very few movie franchises can say that when the franchise for the movies died after the second one. But this one won't have that because, like I said, it's average. Basically, the story setup are somewhat similar to the original movie. You've got a bunch of people who are looking for ghosts. One of them starts off as being an actual legitimate scientist at a university. However, she's done this research in the past, and when the university finds out, she gets fired and has to join the other team. And the opening scenes are really good. I mean, when you first start this movie, you think you're in for a really good treat. Like, this might actually top the original. However, once the main theme starts playing and you just see this regular font that says Ghostbusters, you know you're in for a mixed bag at best, and that's what it turns out to be. Anyways, these teams starts to investigate all these ghosts. They, of course, invent new weapons to battle the ghosts. And some of these weapons are actually cool. We still have the remade guns and the remade traps for them to use. However, they do invent other things, like they have guns and grenades that can actually kill the ghosts. They have fists that can actually punch them. Some pretty cool stuff in there. And I did enjoy that. However, a lot of these ghosts, a lot of the CGI is lame and crappy. The first ghost they encounter is kind of cool. However, the first ghost they catch, which is at this rock concert this time rather than the hotel, but the setup and build-up is the same as the hotel scene from the original Ghostbusters. But this first ghost they catch, which is this giant gargoyle, looks so fake. It looks like it's a reject from those awful Scooby-Doo movies a decade ago. In fact, I was expecting to see crappy animated Scooby-Doo come running in going, "Roll, Raggy! Roosh! Run!" That's how fake this ghost looks. It would be comical. And I'll be honest, the villain sucks too. He's not exactly this evil mastermind. In the original Ghostbusters, you don't ever really see the villain because he's long since passed. They actually brought him back for the Ghostbusters 2009 video game, but at that point he's long since deceased. He's not a member of anything. He's basically was just a guy who flipped his lid thanks to World War I and started building all these structures to eventually summon the apocalypse. Here, we actually see him, and he's pretty freaking lame. He's basically an introvert that's gone full-on antisocial and wants to destroy everything because he's tired of everyone poking fun of him. Let this be a lesson to you introverts. We're going to destroy the world someday, at least according to Hollywood. But yeah, he's lame. You know, he eventually becomes a ghost, starts possessing people. That gets a little cool. Unfortunately, it's only to have the second most useless character in this movie in there, and that is the kind of secretary. Rather than being this geeky, almost personality-less character like Janine was in the original, they kind of have this guy who's dumb as a rock. Unfortunately, the jokes don't work. He's done by the guy who plays Thor. Unfortunately, his jokes don't work. They're not that funny. It's kind of a shame. The character could be something. And then let's talk about my problems with the Ghostbusters cast itself. There's just no chemistry between them. Individually, they're funny, and like I said, there's some good ideas for the weapons and stuff, and there's some good skits done on an individual level. McCarthy kind of losing control of the proton pack the first time she fires it and kind of just flying around the alley, and a few other things, but chemistry-wise, they don't really function that much as a team as far as humor. The original Ghostbusters were a team. They had a really great comic sense, and the movie was really tight. It was always funny, and you really enjoyed these guys, and you could see they were friends even when they hated each other. There's also no Venkman character. The gal who's the Venkman type, the cynic of the group, doesn't have Bill Murray's mouth or sense of timing. What made the original Ghostbusters great was Bill Murray. You had Ray and Egon, who were totally obsessed with ghosts, completely believing it, studying it, inventing new stuff to catch them. And then you had Venkman, who only believed enough because he could see a profit in it. He was the hustler. He wanted women and money, and the others kind of hated him for it. And because of that, you could have a really great sense of humor with the character. Here, nope, she's bland and completely forgettable, and since Venkman was the peg to the original Ghostbusters, and this character is also the peg, the movie kind of falls a bit flat. That said, they do some original stuff in it that is good. For example, when they first go out looking for a place to live, they stop by the classic Ghostbusters fire station. It's even teased in the trailer, and then they see the price for the rent and can't afford it, so they have to move above a Chinese restaurant, and that's kind of a funny scene. I also loved what they did with Slimer. You don't see him until kind of the grand finale in this one, but what he does is he carjacks their ride, and that scene's hilarious. You see a girl Slimer, you see all these ghosts just kind of joyriding in their car as they're kind of doing the final battle, and they're kind of looking at him like, well, he's having the time of his life. And that's kind of hilariously funny. The ending of the movie, though, is different from the original, but does the same thing. Basically, giant monster attacks the city after they choose a destructor form. So, yeah, when they do something original, it's good. When they try to just change what the original did, it comes off lame. As far as the original characters go, as far as cameos, yeah, pretty much every surviving cast member of Ghostbusters, except for Rick Moranis, who has retired, does some sort of cameo in this one. The best one is Bill Murray, and it's kind of a shame in some ways that he's in there, because he's in there a bit too much. And for a moment there, I was hoping that they'd actually give him an actual real part, that he would be the Peck character, the character that kind of gets in their way because he doesn't believe what they're saying, the cynic. Murray's got that sense of humor, kind of turn that against the cast, and he would be a good character. Unfortunately, he's in it for one somewhat long scene, and then he gets killed off by a ghost. That's kind of lame. Aykroyd's a cabbie. He gets about 30 seconds worth of screen time. You get a quick look at the character who played Janine in a hotel. And then if you stick to an after-credits scene, you do see Sigourney Weaver play a part. Overall, these cameos were okay, but again, it was calling attention to the fact that the original is a better movie. My overall thoughts on this, with all my rambling and stuff, is that it's not the original Ghostbusters. It's not terrible, but it's not as good as the original. I don't know if any movie will ever be as good as the original. It just, everything kind of went together to make that movie a really great, almost perfect movie. You had 4 really talented actors. You had great chemistry. You had a great original plot, and you can't have an original plot with a reboot. You're rebooting. That means something was there before. Great original plot. And you had a really kick-ass theme song. Here, the theme song is a rework of the original. That sounds like complete crap in my opinion. That said, there are some legitimately funny scenes, and while these characters don't have as great a chemistry, they're not really funny playing off each other, there are some scenes in this that are legitimately funny and some really cool ideas. I don't know if I want a sequel to the movie, but I can't say that it's worth skipping altogether. My thought is wait for it on Netflix or Redbox. That is my advice. Wait for it to hit those platforms. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master, thanking you for listening, and I'm signing out now.